The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. Happy, what are we at? Wednesday now, aren't we?
It's a Wednesday.
It is. I almost said Thursday, but I heard your wife's voice. And I know.
In your head, believe me, I hear that all the time.
I bet you do.
And it's usually damning me.
I bet you do. So we got Adam with us tonight on Wednesday, as tomorrow is Myth or Mystery night. So welcome, Adam.
Hello, sir. It's been a long week. We didn't do last Friday. We
No.
played a best of.
Yeah. We because I was over at Console Room.
Yes, you were. How was your Whovian experience?
It's good. It's good. It's a great con. They really take good care of you. And we spent a lot of time with one of the guests that some of my friends knew. So I spent a lot of time hanging out with all of them. And we did this really cool interview that I helped set up that brought somebody from the UK basically here, but they were still in the UK. So we did like just a nice little virtual thing. And it was cool. Talk about television restoration as it happens.
So are they going to make those old Doctor Who's 4K at some point?
Well, I hope not, because I don't want to have to buy them again. So, I mean, and then there's some sort of like thing that I have to buy every damn iteration that comes out. Like, I don't know, there's some kind of like mind brainwashing that happened that I don't.
But you're some big rich paranormal investigator radio show host. You should have that coin just lying around.
No, that's who we're going to be talking to in a moment.
Oh yeah, that's right. He owns a fort, or at least runs one.
He does. I believe he actually owns Waverly Hills as well. So
what? He is now my new best friend.
I don't know why he's shaking. No, don't be so modest over there. Before we get to him, though, I just want to say, have you ever been to Hawaii? Have you ever been to Hawaii? I know I haven't, but have you ever been to Hawaii Poke Bowl?
No, I have not.
Have you heard of that place?
No, I have not.
I went there for dinner tonight. It's just up the road. I thought it was a chain, like a sort of chain. It's basically, do you like sushi?
I love sushi.
So it's like a bowl with rice, and then they, like the one I got called the Rainbow Bowl. So it had some different types of tuna. It had some salmon and avocado, and it was really, really good.
I will flat out tell you, sushi is the only reason I haven't gone vegan.
Okay, yeah.
Literally doing a steak and sushi, what I call my version of surf and turf, steak grilled, by the way.
Yeah.
Then that's the only thing keeping me away from being completely plant-based.
I see. Well, then I noticed that on the menu, because it's like kind of like you could build your own as well. So you have all the different type of proteins in there. Mm-hmm. Listed under the protein was octopus.
Oh,
yeah.
I love eel. Octopus, I think, would be amazing.
Octopus is amazing.
I got to go there.
Yeah, you got to go there. So
can we get a discount? We gave them a shout.
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna really. Well, that's just it. So, okay, in 4 days, I turned 50, and the transformation into elderly is happening. It's been happening for a while. First of all, the people behind the counter, they're younger, mm-hmm. like early 20s. That's great. They talk so fast. I'm like, what? It's like, and I'm like, so the second thing that I didn't hear her say, I said, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. And she's like, you're fine. I'm like, thanks. So yeah, that's fantastic.
At least they didn't go, do you have your AARP card for a discount?
Well, and I'm surprised I haven't got the letters for that yet.
You know what? To be honest with you, I always thought the AARP thing, I never wanted to get there or anything like that. It's like, these are just for old people. Then Harrison Ford ended up on the copy of the AARP magazine. I'm like, it's cool to be old. Han Solo's old. I'll be old.
Yeah, well, you'll be lucky to be. Well, yeah. I mean, around here, we don't think you're going to make it to 50. But the thing is that we be his age as like alive as he is ridiculous.
Just let me know who's got what in the pool so I can, if people I like they're closer, I'll make sure that happens.
That sounds good.
Right
that sounds perfect. So tonight I am very happy for a couple reasons. You've not had the pleasure of being on when my guest tonight, Ernie Pack, who is a let me read the bio here. He is a great nope, we're not going to say that. I'm just going to scroll through a couple. Really good at what he nope.
Yeah, because we're factual when it comes to the paranormal here.
He goes, he is in tune. Nope. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ernie Pack. So we got
What a great intro, Greg. Thank you, brother.
Hey, at least your avatar this time wasn't a hand-drawn stick figure.
Yeah, that was, I was quite pleased to see that he didn't do his artwork this time.
Oh, this is a very serious show, Ernie. So
I know that, and I take it very seriously, Greg.
So let's take away the fun. I enjoyed it, and probably no one else did. But Ernie Pack, along with his wife Denise, they work at Fort Duffield in West Point, Kentucky. That there's always tours available for there, and also overnights to do paranormal investigations. You can go to the Hauntings of Fort Duffield on Facebook. Please go like the page. Please go support, and more importantly, go and find time to go out there and investigate and have fun. Very, very great. And Ernie, I'm just giving you a hard time. I really admire you and Denise quite a bit, and it is impressive that we finally got Adam on the show at the same time that you're on. I actually thought you two were the same person for a while.
I feel like I've finally made the big time. I'm actually on with you, and then someone that actually knows radio, Adam.
Well, and that
the production stuff and everything. That's pretty awesome.
3 nights a week, it's kind of a crapshoot, but then we get 2 where Adam is coming in to save the day.
Decides to come into work and do something. Yeah, that's awesome.
Pretty much. And I'm seeing the comments fill up in Facebook. If you go to GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun, if you want to join in the conversation, you can do so. Though I do have to say we had more people on it last night when it was just me. But that's fine, Ernie. It's not a competition, so I don't know why you're trying to make it into one.
I don't believe that at all. I've seen your show.
Well, try doing it. So I asked Ernie to come on, and not so we can exchange barbs at each other all night, though it is pleasant. One of the things that we do a lot on the show over here is we talk about some of the negative spirits and whatnot that it's just, even if we are trying not to do so, Ernie, I feel like, that's just kind of where it heads. That's what people are most interested in. And I really thought that it would be a nice idea to kind of, and we do this, but maybe even more so, talking about the positive interaction spirit has and the positive influences that they put to our lives. And I did think about you and Denise quite a bit, because there's one great big moment that you were truly blessed with spirit helping, but that's not the only one. You two are very much you bring forth positivity, you bring forth good spirit interaction, and I really wanted to talk with you about that tonight.
Yeah, the paranormal, and I think largely because of paranormal entertainment television and YouTube and things like that, it seems, and the movies and all of that, how it's depicted in media in general, it seems to focus way too much on the demonic or negative energies that are out there. And, in reality, yeah, you do have some bad spirits out there. Spirits are people, and, there are people in life that are just, not too pleasant. But most people are just people going about their day to day, doing their thing. And that's spirits. It's the same thing with spirits, and there are some really good ones out there that will that will do everything they can to help you, just as we as paranormal investigators try to help them, that they will try to help us in a way. And I am a prime example of that. If any of you who have followed Greg's shows on Facebook, his GhostBox Radio or GhostBox Live that he used to do, where he did this live spirit box sessions, there were several times when Sarah would come through, and Sarah actually saved my life by bringing me and Denise together. That's a long story that I can give you the nitty gritty of that if you want.
I would like to talk about that in our second segment. I was going to mention it to you, but you were so late coming to the show that totally had no chance to do that. But I
was on another program earlier. I'm sorry.
What is with you people with your like 5 shows a night? But I do want, because I want to give that the whole segment to you talking about that, because it is important, and that is truly. The thing about that is the idea that and let me ask you this, because we do joke about each other quite a bit. Do you think it's pretty much a law of attraction, isn't it? That the more you are a good person, the more the good entities are going to come and want to be with you. Yeah,
I agree. And I always tell people on public investigations, when I was a guide at Waverly Hills, when we do our things at Fort Duffield, I tell everyone going into an investigation, new investigators, that the energy you put out has a direct relationship on the energy you'll receive back from these spirits or force people or whatever it is that you're trying to interact with. Mm-hmm. If you put out a good, positive vibe, and I'm not trying to talk all, hippie talk, but, if you put out that good, positive vibe, that's what you're going to get back. And, you're more likely to have good interactions and more interaction by going into it with that kind of attitude and trying to be as positive and as, nice and helpful. Open yourself up to whatever it is the spirit wants from you, let them know that you're willing to do what you can for them. And they'll do what they can for you as well.
Something that I think might be surprising to our listeners who may not have that they may not know they have that connection like you do, that you can actually call a spirit a friend.
Yeah, absolutely. We have, like Denise said over in the chat, we don't have any small children in our home.
Yeah.
But we have an entire room that is got toys in it, dolls in it. It is set up for the children's spirits in our home. We happen to live in the most haunted house in Kentucky, the Real Ditto House Inn. And we've got child spirits here. We created an entire room for them to do their thing. And they have been interacting in that room. And they are our friends, like family, like Sarah, which we'll talk about later, like you said. I mean, she had a place at our wedding. They are friends. They are part of our family. And that might sound crazy to people who don't have that kind of relationship or that kind of interaction, but you've seen it with us and you understand what I'm talking about.
I do. And I actually, and at the risk of insulting anybody, and I don't want to, but I actually feel like that if you're not prepared to take if you're going to want to take a paranormal journey and you're not prepared for that possibility of that you can think of them as something more than a weekend hobby, then mm-hmm. I don't think that this is the right thing for someone who's truly minded to take part in this world. And I don't call it a field. It's our world.
Right. Yeah. And, I think that's a thing that a lot of people get into, that, or a path that a lot of people take is, they bounce from location to location to location or whatever. And they're just trying to get some kind of evidence that they can put out there and get clicks and likes on. And we approach it, every place we go, we approach it as we want to get to know the history of the people that were there. We want to hear their stories from them if possible. And, you know, because everybody's story, I don't care who you are, is unique and has its own interest. You know, it's worth writing a book about everybody that's out there, and every spirit is the same way. I mean, they're just people and they've got a story, and that's what we seek.
And I would take it a step further too. When I got into this field, you know, back in 1860, the thing is, it's like one of the first things I picked up about the paranormal field, and once again, not meaning to disparage anybody in the field, but when I saw that investigators were turning it into about them instead of about the spirits, I had coined the phrase, "This isn't their story. This isn't our story. This is their story."
Right.
And I still go off of that, because it's very much, you know, this isn't about us, unless you become, you know, I'd say it's different with you and Denise and other people that have actually created a relationship, but this is about helping both spirit and the living.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's, I mean, a lot of, okay, you go to locations where they're having negative activity.
Yeah.
Just location X. And they talk about, oh, there's a very angry spirit here and blah, blah, blah. You know, he committed suicide in the 1800s by hanging himself or this or that, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got this angry spirit there. Well, if you go in there, you know, confronting this angry spirit, you're going to get that angry spirit back. But if you go in there and you try to find out what, you know, what's making you angry, why are you angry?
Yeah.
And you learn their story. You do your own research, your historical research, as well as your paranormal research, and you start to get the communication from them. You might find that the story that's been told about them, like we'll talk about with Sarah, might not be exactly how things were. Maybe they weren't a bad person at all. They were someone that was done wrong, or someone that has just a tragic story, and they're angry because they don't feel like their life was fair. And now they're dead and can't really do anything about it. Or, you know, there's so many different directions that can go.
Absolutely.
And you don't know. And if you go in there just looking for the angry spirit, you're not going to get to know the story behind why that person is angry.
Very much so. Why don't we do this? Let's go ahead, take our first break. When we come back, we're going to learn about Sarah. And if this doesn't get you to understand, if you're a skeptic, if this doesn't help you, maybe I don't know what will, because this is such a positive and beautiful story. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
The Tilted Tiki, located in downtown Stillwater, helps you get your tropical tiki vibe on with a large selection of fantastic tasting tiki cocktails served in unique and fun glasses, A menu of delicious food ranging from small bites, craft tacos, sandwiches, and more. Plus, don't forget they have live music Wednesday through Saturday nights. Located in downtown Stillwater, the Tilted Tiki is your tropical relaxation restaurant in Minnesota. Visit thetiltedtiki.com. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
Reach your highest level of consciousness and well-being with metamorphosisconnections.com. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory of the best holistic and metaphysical practitioners to help you make your most informed choices. You can search metamorphosisconnections.com for classes, events, wellness and life coaches, plus metaphysical products and shops. You can also search for a wide array of healers from all modalities, including EFT, sound healing, energy healing, light therapy, ancestral healing, shamanic healing, reflexology, past life regressions, hypnotherapy, yoga, and more. And if you're not sure where to start, the search feature on metamorphosisconnections.com is tailored to help both those who know what they are looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting metamorphosisconnections.com. Their experienced practitioners can guide both beginners and those that are already on their spiritual journey. That's metamorphosisconnection.com, your link to direct you on your spiritual transformation.
And welcome back to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I also have Adam in the house. It's good to have you back on here.
Great to be back in for tonight.
Very cool. And then you'll be back Friday, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. That's Casual Friday coming up. And then we're very happy to have on Mr. Ernie Pack on the program, who is no stranger to GhostBox Radio. We like to have him on a regular basis. And, Ernie has had a very long life, let's be honest about it. But I mean, has seen a lot of things, has experienced a lot of things that, quite frankly, most of us haven't. And, I think one of the most beautiful things is the story of Sarah. I'm not going to say what Sarah ended up doing for you and Denise. I'm going to let you tell that story. And, we want to hear, because this is a great opportunity to hear what the power of spirits helping on the other side, what that can really do.
All right. Well, as most folks who know me at all know, I spent a long time as a guide at Waverly Hills Sanatorium, which is an amazing, beautiful location. I recommend everyone visit at least once, and many times. Try to get to know the spirits there, like I did. And there's a story of a nurse who was found hanging outside of room 502. There's a lot of different versions of that story about what had happened to her and how that all came to be, and actually where she had been found hanging. And I was a guide, and there was basically a script that we followed that gave one version of the story, that she had been having an affair with a married doctor. She had gotten pregnant. Might have even contracted tuberculosis herself. The relationship with the doctor had ended. She became very distraught, and she hung herself outside of room 502, which is on the 5th floor, Waverly Hills, where at that time they housed patients who had tubercular meningitis and patients who were children with end-stage tuberculosis. And, that was the story that I would always tell. And, the story went on to say that, pregnant women who went up there would have stomach pains and have to leave, and you would hear screams and lots of torment and negativity up there. And so I would give the tours, I would tell that story, and folks would go on about their business. Well, that story, the more I knew about Waverly Hills and the more I delved into the history of nursing and tuberculosis and everything associated with it, the less sense that story made to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I made it my mission to find out maybe if that story might not have been true or if there was another side to that story. And so I wanted to communicate with that nurse if I could. So every chance I had, I would go up there and try to talk to her. And I never was having any success, really. One night, I had a group in there for a private overnight, and I had given them their walkthrough, and I told them that same scripted story about the suicide and the abortion and everything that went with that story. And I turned them loose to start their investigation. I went downstairs, got out of the building so that they'd have their privacy. And a couple hours into the investigation, they came down and got me, and they said they weren't having a lot of luck and asked if I could come in and help them. I said, sure. So I went up there, and I was just watching them at first. They were up on the 5th floor outside of room 502. They had all their equipment laid out, and they were asking questions like, why did you kill your baby? Who was the doctor you were sleeping with?
Yeah, goodness.
Did you know his wife? All these things. And,
So-
I'm sitting there, I can't really be mad at them because that's the story I had told them. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it was striking me as disrespectful. And I just started thinking, what if that's not what happened?
Yep.
And I said, guys, do you mind if I chime in? They said, sure, go ahead. And I sat down next to the elevator, which is right across from room 502. And I said, hey, my name is Ernie, and I'm going to spend a lot of time up here trying to get to know you. I want to know your story. I want to find out what really happened that night. I don't believe that the story I tell on these tours is what really happened to you. I promise you, if you'll tell me your story, I will tell that to everyone I meet. But you got to help me. Can you just tell me your name? And within 2 seconds of me saying that, all of us, all men, the only people in the building, hear a tiny little female voice from right in front of room 504 that says, Sarah. And, we about jumped out of our skin.
Yep.
Because we weren't expecting that. Disembodied voice right there 15 feet away. And that night started what wound up being, I don't know, close to over a decade of me going up there every chance I had, at least.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
You said that you're like, I don't think this is your story. Do you think that she had any part in giving you that impression before you even heard back from her?
Well, yeah, because a lot of the interactions we would get up there, I mean, you can go and find it still. There's a YouTube video of another guide giving a tour up there right around the same time that I had this interaction with her. And he starts talking. Someone's running a recorder while he's giving the tour, and he starts talking about the affair, the abortion, the suicide. And you hear repeatedly, no,
Okay.
no, she's screaming. And those kinds of things would come through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that, kind of got in my head. And so that's one of the reasons why I would question it. It's like, well, maybe that's not what happened. Maybe that's why she's screaming no.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I started going up there, like I said, every chance I had and trying to have these conversations with her. And I would run a recorder. Sometimes I'd take equipment, and I would get bits and pieces of her actual story from her that, it wasn't like straight conversation, but you'd get a tidbit here and a tidbit there, and then you come back the next time and you kind of plug in the pieces to the puzzle and you ask another question related to the last one, and you just build it. And over the course of those 10, 12 years, I had built a whole other story that was way different than the story that I would tell on the tours based on the EVPs that I had gotten. Well, one night, June 20th of 2019, I always transpose those two. June 20th of 2019, I was giving a walkthrough for a group that was there for a private overnight. And I told the story that we all told on the tours. It was still the same story. And for some reason that night, I looked around the group and I said, I don't think that's really what happened, though. If you'd like, I will tell what I think happened.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, sure. So I told them Sarah's story as she had told it to me. And as I was telling it, I noticed a woman standing back there behind her three daughters, and she's nodding her head yes and grinning to everything I'm saying. At the end of the tour, before they started their investigation, I pulled her aside. I said, I noticed when I was telling Sarah's story, you seemed to know what I was going to say before I said it. And she said, yeah. She said, I've been coming here since 2009. And that's right about the time I started working at Waverly, too. And ironically, I'd never met her, but she was going there once or twice a year at least that whole time. And she said, I'm a nurse. I'm a mother. That story's always meant a lot to me. And so I've investigated her myself, and I've gotten the same responses that you were talking about when you were telling her story. And that led to the two of us talking a lot. Well, I was going through a lot of really bad times, and I had lost a job with the railroad. I'd come out of a relationship, bad breakup. My son was living with me. His mother she was having a hard time too, so he was living with me. And I was struggling in every way, financially, emotionally, you name it. I'd gone through some health issues. A lot of things were just falling apart in my life. And I kept reaching out to this woman that I had met through telling Sarah's story and telling her what was going on in my life. And she was always there for me. But she had gone through a lot herself, and we weren't like in any kind of relationship, but we would talk a lot. And most of it was trying to piece together Sarah's story together, or comparing notes basically. And I got to a point where one night I had a group in there for a private overnight. They left at 4 a.m. I let them out of the gate. I went back in the building to go up and lock the doors. We would lock the building up from the top down because there's fire escape access to the 5th floor. So I would lock the gate, lock the door up there so people couldn't come up the fire escape and then get in the building and come down. And I was a smoker at the time. I had lost my house. Denise said in the chat over here, I had lost my house. I was living in my car, sleeping in the parking lot at Waverly after I would get off work for like 3 hours and then go work another job. But things were just bad. And I go up to the 5th floor to lock it up, and I walked out on the roof. I was a smoker at the time, lit me a cigarette, was standing there on the roof, just looking out and thinking how bad things were. And I had decided when I finished that cigarette, I was going to flick it off the roof, and I was going to follow that cigarette down. And I finished the cigarette. I went to flick it, and I heard that same little tiny female voice, Sarah's voice, said, "Call Denise." That was the woman from the tour that night that had known Sarah's story as I was telling it. So I stopped and I turned and I looked. I didn't see her standing anywhere, but I heard her.
Mm-hmm.
And so I picked up the phone. Remember, it's after 4 a.m, my time, 3 a.m, her time. She was living in Hendersonville, Tennessee at the time. And I called her, and she answered on the first ring. And I didn't tell her I was going through anything bad. I just said, "What are you doing?" And we just started talking.
Mm-hmm.
And, all those thoughts left my head. I was at peace. And I kept getting these little messages. I think, and this is a whole different aspect of things. I think once you develop these relationships with these spirits, you get to a point where they can give you messages, and it might sound crazy to some people, but this is real.
Yeah.
And it really happened. I mean, they can mind speak, I guess. I don't know, where you can hear them whether you are trying to or not. And, she would always say, Denise will help you. She will help you. And she was right. Denise continued to help me from, 2 hours away or 3 hours away in Hendersonville, Tennessee. She helped me in every way. And, those of you who know me know that Denise and I are now happily married and crazy about each other. And it's all because of Sarah. And that is something that I cannot deny because I lived it. Yeah, like Denise said over in the chat, she kept getting tickets to Waverly just that would fall into her lap. And for those of you who have tried to get into Waverly Hills for an investigation, you know how hard it is. They typically sell out in the first week of taking bookings for the year. They sell out for the year. And she just people kept calling her saying, "Hey, we're going to Waverly. We've got an extra spot. Do you want to go?" And she'd pop up, like, "Yeah, sure."
Mm-hmm.
And she would come up, like she says over in the chat, she'd get a hotel room. And so I could have a shower and a real bed for a few days instead of sleeping in my car. And, it'd be totally platonic. She'd either have her own room or her own bed. Usually we had, like a double room where she had a bed, I had a bed, and we'd lay there in bed and talk to each other all night. But, we weren't a couple. But eventually we realized that we were, and now we're married. And like I say, it's all Sarah's fault.
So, and I need to go to break here in a second, but I want to ask you this. Do you think spirits have the ability to see other outcomes to scenarios that don't happen? And that's, one of the things that she saw with you up on the roof that night.
I think so. I think that, Denise will tell you, if she were on here, she would tell you that she was not too different than me, her mental state and everything at the time, and that Sarah kept pushing her toward me. It's like she orchestrated it all. And she knew that we needed each other, and she put us together.
Do you consider Sarah like a guardian angel, or do you think that that's too formal of what's...
that is appropriate because of what she did for us. I think of her as an angel, but she was just a kid. She was just a young lady that was brutally raped and murdered. And, she wasn't, a god.
No.
One of God's angels in that sense, but she's an angel, and she did great work.
Let's do this. Let's go ahead, take our second break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about all of this, as well as a couple other things that I want to kind of touch on. You're listening to GhostBox Radio. on AM 950.
Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
The Tilted Tiki, located in downtown Stillwater, helps you get your tropical tiki vibe on with a large selection of fantastic tasting tiki cocktails served in unique and fun glasses, a menu of delicious food ranging from small bites, craft tacos, sandwiches, and more. Plus, don't forget they have live music Wednesday through Saturday nights. Located in downtown Stillwater, the Tilted Tiki is your tropical relaxation restaurant in Minnesota. Visit thetiltedtiki.com. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
Reach your highest level of consciousness and well-being with metamorphosisconnections.com. Metamorphosisconnections.com is an online directory of the best holistic and metaphysical practitioners to help you make your most informed choices. You can search metamorphosisconnections.com for classes, events, wellness and life coaches, plus metaphysical products and shops. You can also search for a wide array of healers from all modalities, including EFT, sound healing, energy healing, light therapy, ancestral healing, shamanic healing, reflexology, past life regressions, hypnotherapy, yoga, and more. And if you're not sure where to start, the search feature on metamorphosisconnections.com is tailored to help both those who know what they are looking for and those who are just starting. Come explore the possibilities for your higher self by visiting metamorphosisconnections.com. Their experienced practitioners can guide both beginners and those that are already on their spiritual journey. That's metamorphosisconnection.com, your link to direct you on your spiritual transformation.
And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We're going to do a replay of an episode tomorrow night. You might wonder why I'm never on here on Thursdays doing a live show, and that's because you can join me along with Miriam and my friend Ryan on a Facebook show called Myth or Mystery. You can find that on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun on Facebook. That's tomorrow night at 9 p.m. It's a very fun game show, and I guarantee you're going to go there. You're going to see some footage of some paranormal, possibly not paranormal, but you take part in the polling to decide what everyone thinks. That's tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And of course, you can watch GhostBox Radio right after that. We are talking with Ernie Pack. Ernie is doing a lot over at Fort Duffield. And we want to talk about, we talk about doing good in attract spirits and whatnot to come through. But there is one of our own that needs some help. And you are all putting on an event to aid that. Can you talk about that, please?
Yeah, I'd like to, because Tim Comer, T-Dog, as most folks know him, has been one of the greatest supporters of everybody else in the field for many years. that you'll ever find. He's always out there promoting one another, other folks in the field. He's always visiting locations and promoting locations, and he's always got a positive message. And T-Dog has run into some hard times with his mother-in-law's had some really bad health issues. She's been in the hospital, in and out of the hospital for the past several months now.
Mm-hmm.
She's been a big supporter of Denise and myself. When we used to do a regular podcast, you could always count on Sue to be watching or listening. Sue's blind, but she'd always be listening, and she'd always be chiming in when she could. And we've called her, made personal phone calls to her many times, and talked to her. And she gives me just as much grief as Denise does.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, which is a lot.
To be honest, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably too much. But
no, it's
anyway, she's had some really bad health issues. She's not in real good shape with her insurance or anything like that, and so they're struggling to take care of Sue.
Yeah.
And T-Dog's furnace has gone out. T-Dog doesn't live as far north as you do up there in, the southern tip of Canada.
Yeah.
But he's north of Indianapolis, or on the north side of Indianapolis, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really cold right now.
Yeah. And
not to have a furnace is not a good thing in this kind of weather. And the replacement cost for a furnace for his house has been quoted right around $13,000.
Yeah.
So Christy Ayers has started a GoFundMe for him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's getting a lot of donations. Denise and I decided we wanted to reach out and try to do something. So we've put together an event at the Old Stone Jail in Franklin, Kentucky, which is where we got engaged and married, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have Todd and Leanne Eskew there.
Yeah.
From the Black Wolf Paranormal. We're going to have Eric Freeman Sims from the Unseen Paranormal podcast there.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get some other special guests to come in, maybe some para-celebs. We're not celebs. We're just folks who try to put on events every now and then. Thank you, Brad. Brad Webb of Cracked Skull Paranormal has donated, I believe it's 8 mini REM pods and 4 yes/no boxes. Isn't that what it is, Brad? Or is it 4 and 2? I can't remember exactly what it was. But anyway, he's donated a lot of equipment.
Yeah.
We're going to be raffling off.
Yep.
We've got donations of a night at Ashmore Estates,
mm-hmm.
a night at Octagon Hall, a night at Fort Duffield. Denise and I are donating a night at Fort Duffield. We're also donating a night here at our house. Like I say, it is the most haunted house in Kentucky. You can Google it. The Real Ditto House Inn.
I've stayed there.
Yes, you have.
So we broke George Washington's furniture there. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the event, because I want to make sure people have a chance to go check it out.
Yeah, it's going to be at the Old Stone Jail in Franklin, Kentucky on February 3rd. If you see over there in the chat, Brad Webb's got a lot of stuff. But we've got a lot of items that we're going to be raffling off, auctioning off, things like that. We're going to have more information on that online here real soon. But you can get the tickets. The tickets are $50 a person. That's going to include food, drinks, meet and greet, hang out with all of us, which is worth the price of admission anyway.
Still consider buying tickets, yeah.
and then an investigation at the Old Stone Jail, and Billy's given us both the jail, the jailer's house, and the Simpson County Historical Society Museum, which is a 2-story building that's very active also.
Mm-hmm.
So we got access to all of that, and it's going to be a good time. And for a good cause, all the proceeds are going to T-Dog directly. We're not taking any profit whatsoever. And I am not going to wear a thong and do the dunking booth like Denise says in the chat. But
well, I don't even know how to address that. So
no.
can people find like both how to do the event, how to get involved in the event, as well as the GoFundMe that Christy set up? Can they find that at the Fort Duffield Facebook page?
You can find it on the Fort Duffield page or on Pac-Man Paranormal page or group. The Fort Duffield is a group. We have a page and a group for Pac-Man Paranormal, PACKMAN.
Mm-hmm.
And we always share all that information for both things. The GoFundMe and the event are on both pages. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me, Ernie Pack, like it is on the screen right there, ERNIEPACK on Facebook, and I'll be happy to get you hooked up. If you'd like to donate anything for the raffle or the auction, just hit me up and we'd be happy to take your donations. Like I say, it's for a good cause.
It is. And people need help. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And, we're broadcasting to a wide audience in the Twin Cities. Please go to the Haunting of Fort Duffield on Facebook to not only see about this beautiful location, but to see what we're talking about with Tim Coomer, and be able to, just if anyone can help, I mean, imagine right now, even just thinking about what it's like here and not having, heat. I mean, if it's like 20, 30, 40 degrees, it's still, you need something. So definitely consider it. Now, I just, as we wrap up the show here, we have about 5 minutes left or so. I do want to play something here that, and I'm playing it kind of blind because it's in my stack of stuff, and I believe, and this might not even play because StreamYard's kind of difficult with stuff like this. We'll see. I believe this is Sarah, actually, from one of my Spirit Box sessions. Saying her own name. It may not come through only because it's so short, but let's see if I can get it to play.
Okay.
Not the right time there.
Yeah.
You know what that is? Yeah.
That's her.
Yeah. And I'm going to play it one more time because it goes very quick. You're going to hear a voice, and it's just a woman saying Sarah. And this is from one of my Spirit Box sessions that we're talking about back when Ernie and Denise would also be in the audience. So let's play it one more time for people. Did you hear that, Adam?
Yeah, I heard that loud and clear.
Yeah. And that's not the only time that she's come in during our sessions, and she very much likes to let us know that she's there.
Yeah.
When we're doing them, when Denise and Ernie come on, I don't really think that she's come on without you two being on.
I don't know. She has shown up. We have done, hosted events at other locations outside of Waverly where we're trying to showcase that location and the spirits that are there. And Sarah dominates the conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like, Sarah, we're trying to showcase, you talk to the people that are here. Thanks for following us. Appreciate it, but let somebody else talk.
No,
but she's a sweetheart, and she likes to talk. She likes us. She hangs on to us.
It's great that she is very vocal, and she sounds very kind. She must see something in you, Ernie, that well, I don't know how to end that sentence, but it's great.
Funny. I mean, she has cut jokes. I mean, we've caught jokes out of her where she pokes fun at me or just pokes fun at us. We don't have time to go into it, but I mean, she knows us, and it's great.
And it opens up a lot of questions that, like you said, we don't really have time for, but maybe we can talk about it another time. But I mean, this is why I wanted, first of all, thank you for sharing such a wonderful personal story like this. But this is why I wanted to do it, because, it's so wonderful that we can really put some attributes to, and friendship to spirit communication.
Absolutely. It's more than just, getting the evidence so you get likes and shares and all of that stuff. It's about developing a relationship with these people, because that's what they are. They're people, and telling their stories.
You know, do you think, and we have about a minute, and I know that a minute for you is about 5, but do you think that, do you think you knew her in a past life?
I think it's very possible. I really do. Denise has actually, thought about, was I maybe Sarah? Was Denise maybe Sarah?
It's interesting, isn't
in
it?
another life. And, I don't know. I mean, those things always intrigue me. That, the more I learn, the more I experience in the paranormal, the more questions I have. And that's probably how it's always going to be.
I'm going to start printing up T-shirts that says Adam was Sarah. Adam was Sarah the whole time. So,
hey, Aaron, how's it going, buddy?
All right, man. I've been telling your story all I can. I didn't have time to tell the whole story tonight. I'm sorry.
In all honesty, though, that was the same story being told on all the paranormal shows, and I will be 1,000% honest. I thought it was Bupkis then too.
Yeah. What do you do? You mean
with
about
Sarah's
Sarah?
Story? Yeah, like Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, all of them. It was the exact same story told by the Mattingly family, and I thought it was Bupkis.
Well, and I mean that's we'll have to do that for a different show sometime, where it is all about how, like, Ernie and other people, they're what they've been trying to do is get the truth out there, not just for Sarah, but just with the locations and stuff as well. We got to wrap it up, Ernie. Once again, Ernie, thank you for sharing such a wonderful story with us. Folks, please go to A Haunting at Fort Duffield on Facebook, see what's going on there. And if you can contribute to Tim, we would all very much appreciate it. Thank you so much, Ernie.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. And we'll be back Friday with Casual Friday. Everyone, take care. Good night.